Hey, welcome back. It's Don again, and if we can get our mouth breather on the floor over here to keep it down a little bit, I'll give you a quick update on where we're at. So, as you'll recall from the last episode, I gave up on the rear brakes for now, but I did consolidate everything over on the side of the garage over here. So you can see this is my halfway line here, the frame, the tub, the tires, the fenders, the engine hoist. Everything fits on one side of the garage. So I'm going to start working on getting it even further consolidated by seeing if I can't somehow get this tub up on this frame. So I expect there to be a little head scratching and thinking that needs to go on and make that happen so I don't drop the thing on my head or my toes or worse or whatever, or the dog. So I'm going to get ready and start tearing into that. I said I was going to wait until I can get my steering knuckles on to get tires on the front. I changed my mind. So if you've noticed, I do that occasionally. So anyway, let's tear into it, see what happens. Should we? It's bound to be exciting. Okay, so before we get too far down the road, you know me, I kind of like to say good things about good vendors and call out those that I think are kind of goofy. Well, I went down to 6 states distributors. Now, if you live in Salt Lake and you ask anyone about drive shafts, you get the same answer. You got to go to 6 states, man. They're the bomb diggity when it comes to drive shafts. So, and drivetrain components and all that. So, I think I mentioned I had called them and asked them about whether or not they could press my ball joints out. They said, sure, bring them down. We can get to them sometime next week. So I went down there today, and there's one ponytailed dude on the phone, and he's on the phone for 20 minutes while I'm sitting there. And they got this big counter in there, and all along the counter are drive shafts laying on the counter with a piece of paper under each one of them. So that's their system for keeping track of the work that they're all backed up on. So he's talking to one guy on the phone rings, he puts that next guy on hold, goes back to the first guy. Finally, he puts that guy on hold. He gets on what I think is overall paging. He literally just shouts in there some other guy's name and says, I need help at the front counter. So by this point, there's me and another dude waiting at the front counter. So my guy finally gets off the phone. He comes to help me. I'm like, hey, I need these ball joints pressed out of here. Yep, okay, we can do it. He grabs a piece of their paper, writes my name and my phone number, slides it under the ball joints. Boom, there they go. They sit there, the knuckles they sit there on the counter. Done. That's where they're going to sit until they get to them. So apparently the way their process works is who's ever next in the shop that's going to work on a drivetrain, drive shaft, whatever they've got, comes out to the counter, grabs the next drive shaft in line, the piece of paper, undoubtedly, because that's a good secure system. Ask me someday of how my boat got frozen up because of a piece of paper. And anyway, so then he goes back and fixes that drive shaft and comes out and gives the paper back to ponytail guy, I think, and then he calls the person and they come get it. So, wow, what a system they got there. And I always feel like it's a little frustrating to me. You know, I own my own business, so I'm always watching other businesses, and whenever I see a business that's backed up, that's giving what I consider to be pretty crappy, you know, turnaround on their work. I mean, this guy's like, yeah, we'll get to it sometime next week, probably towards the end of the week. No real, you know, indication of when to expect it. And I just feel like, you know, I mean, I saw him and one other guy in there, and if you've got a whole counter full of work backed up for a week out, he probably like that all the time, because he wasn't like, oh, sorry, we're just busy this week. It's probably like that all the time. It seems to me like, man, you could afford to hire another guy to do drive shafts and start to get some people some turnaround. So anyway, when the folks from 6 states distributors comes along and catches this video, Lord, I hope I got my knuckles back before they see this, or I'll never get them back. So anyway, just it's funny sometimes how businesses run, and they're just like, you know what, we're working at the pace we work at, and we're not going to hurry on anybody's account. We're not going to do any more than we can do, and you're just going to deal with it, aren't you? So, yes, I am going to deal with it. So anyway, what I'm going to do today is a little rearranging here and see if I can get the tub laid down and lifted up somehow so that I can roll the frame under it, or roll it under the frame. I think I can roll the frame under it if I do it right. So that's my plan. The plan has got a few holes in it right now. I've been thinking about it, and I kind of just have so far that much of a plan.
I have a plan.
You got a plan.
Yes.
First of all, you're copying me from when I said I had a plan.
I'm not. People say that all the time. It's not that unique of a thing to say.
Secondly, I don't even believe you have a plan.
I have part of a plan.
What percentage of a plan do you have?
But anyway, I'm sure it will get better. I'll get the plan figured out, and we'll carry on with this project. So let's do it. No more talking. Let's get some work done. All right, I've said it before. I think it's important to record all of your foolhardy moves just so that the emergency room doctors have an easier time figuring out how all the parts got displaced. So here's where I'm at. I have undone the screws holding the tub to this bottom part of the pallet. So what they did is they just kind of notched this and put it over the side of the fender in there. So I've undone that. I've taken my little roller dude out from underneath. There was a piece of wood here going over the side. I got that out of there. And this final one up front, same deal. It's kind of notched to fit over the side of the Jeep. And I got one screw to take out, but this board is not holding anything now. So that's that. So what my plan is now is I'm going to see if I can get the engine hoist around onto this side of over here, and I'm going to hook a strap probably into this. Looks pretty stout. This looks pretty stout. Maybe one here. Bring them all up here. Hook them to the engine hoist. Start to tip this down. Let the hoist take the weight. It's obviously got to drop down a couple of inches off that. Well, 6 inches off of that board right there. But I'm hoping I can kind of control the weight with the hoist. Slide it down off there, and then I'll just walk it down and lay it down here. So we'll see how that goes. I'll set you up, and you can watch the antics. We're planning this out, right? So we're thinking that this tub could just lay down here on the garage floor. However, my trusty assistant sidekick dog has placed herself in the worst possible location. Doesn't she look comfortable? Are you comfy down there? We probably don't want to push you out of the way, do we, you poor thing? Yeah, you're going to have to move. Well, I made the dog go back in the house while I did that because she was in the way and I didn't want to drop anything on her, and I didn't want to have to worry about her staying out of the way. So I was feeling bad because she's laying inside the door all grumpy and mopey, and I thought, all right, I'll let her come back out. I went in to get a drink and I brought her back out with me, and then I turned around for a minute and I'm like, all right, well, let me see if I can get that floor jack out from under the tub. Oh. Literally, again, the worst possible place she could choose to lay. Now, she could be up there, she could be out on the driveway looking around, watching all the neighbor dogs walk by. She could even be back here, nice space here. But where is she? In the worst possible place. I can't move the floor jack with her there. There might be a dog for sale to go with this Jeep. Well, it occurred to me as I was sitting here thinking about how to pick this thing up, that I had built a structure of sorts to try to make it easier to get the tent off the top of the truck. So I've had these things sitting over on the side of the house, rotting away or getting all nasty, and up above the garage door up there are the two 2x6s that I had made as cross pieces. So I guess I was thinking to myself, I might use that again someday, so I shouldn't throw that away. And then I thought to myself, oh my God, I'm turning into my father. Anyway, I have the wherewithal, I believe, to put this little assembly back together, which is basically kind of a hoist structure. And it was made wide enough to fit over the sides of the Tacoma, so it's certainly going to fit over the sides of the Jeep. And I believe I can just stand that up on either side of this tub, lift with the engine hoist, strap it in place, go around to the front, lift it up, strap it in place, come into the back, lift it up some more, tighten the straps, etc. And just work it up till I get it up the height I want it, and just leave it hanging from this thing. And then back that frame under there, just as slick as can be, and it's just going to be a walk in the park. So you're going to want to watch this. It's going to take a while, so of course we'll do it as a little time-lapse thing so that you can enjoy the full fruits of my labor, but here we go. Okay, well that didn't go exactly according to plan. But if there's one thing I am, it's stubborn. So I shut the camera off. I struggled around for about another 45 minutes or an hour or whatever, but I finally got that thing stood up. Well, it wasn't pretty. And as you saw when I was first trying this, it didn't go exactly to plan, which makes me recall the reason that I didn't have any success using this on the truck to lift the tent off. Is this Rube Goldberg invention that I invented it's kind of a widowmaker kind of thing. So, but I have it standing up now. So there it is. And I've put a bunch of screws in through my brackets up there, and I'm gonna put a little weight on it before I do the Jeep. I'm gonna put a little weight on it and just make sure it's gonna stand up okay. I mean, I think it will now that it's up. I think it'll be okay. Famous last words? I hope not. So I dropped the socket set while I was doing that. And of course, sockets, when they hit the ground, there's one clear up there by the door. So I have sockets all over the floor. I tried the air wrench for a minute to see if I could get one of the screws through. And that didn't really work all that well. So, yeah, like I said, I think I tried this on the truck. I built this to take the tent off the truck. And I seem to recall kind of this same, swearing and dropping things and worried that I'm going to drop it on the truck and all that kind of thing. So, jury's out on whether this is a good idea or a bad idea, but let's put a little weight on it and see what happens. If it looks like it's going to hold up, then we'll move forward. If not, I'm taking it down, and I will take the saw to it so I can never be tricked into this foolishness again of trying this again, because you saw how it went the first time. Now that was my own dang fault. I thought I could get just one screw or one bolt in each end of that cross 2x6 up there and then kind of stand it up, and it just started going all wonky, and then the hole that I had the one bolt through just cracked open and chaos ensued. So once again, my purpose in life with this Jeep project is to show you all the wrong ways to do it, or all the ways you should not replicate. So don't go build your own stupid contraption out of 2x4s to try to pick stuff up. Even just picking up a roof tent, it just didn't work very good. So there it is. Words of wisdom. Okay, well, let's see what happens here. Well, I'm pretty sure we've discussed my thing for ratchet straps. In fact, I think I'll link the episode right up there just in case you want to go back and refresh your memory. But I'll come back to that in a second. Let me show you what I've done. I have now got the tub sitting. It's really easy to move, as you can tell. So it's sitting on a 2x4 across the frame mounting points, and underneath that 2x4 is that little roller dolly. So if we come back around to the back side here, you see I've repeated the process. I've got it under my points where my body mounts will be. I've got a roller dolly under there. I now have ratchet straps hanging from this Widowmaker contraption here. And I'm about to wheel the Jeep back about where I'm standing, the tub. I'm going to hook the straps to the 2x4s, so I'm lifting straight up off those frame mounting points, and I'm lifting with the 2x4s, not hooking to the sheet metal. And I've got my top of my ratchet straps, the ratchet part up towards the top, so I'm going to put a little stress on there, see how she holds up. I've put a bunch of screws around the top. I had a couple of places where I could put a 2x4 kind of crossways from the 2x6 down to the frame part, so I've got that done. A little bit of reinforcement here and there. So I'm gonna put a little weight on this thing and see how we do. So I'll set you down and let you watch. Well, was that stressful for you? It kind of was for me, but I got it. So let me show you where we're at here. Well, you saw it when I was doing it, but the tub is sitting on the frame now. And pretty well lined up mostly, for the most part, I think. Something's not touching in the back here, so I gotta maybe... Well, I got a little positioning to do, obviously. But it's sitting on there, and so my little death trap home hoist wooden thing didn't turn out to be so bad after all. So I just took it really slow, and you know, I tried to go a little at a time and whatnot. So I had to, a couple times I had to stop and kind of run my straps up shorter. But you know what? I think I used every single ratchet strap that I have. So let's go back to that how many straps do I need thing. Well, apparently I need as many as I have because I used them all. What I did is once my big ones got up near the end, I put a little short one on the back here to take up the tension so I could pull the big one down and kind of sort it out again. So yeah, it worked out all right. What can I say? It worked out okay. It's time for me to go have a drink. I ain't gonna clean the garage up or anything tonight. I'm just leaving everything where it is, and I'm done. I haven't eaten any dinner, so I'm hungry, and I need to eat something and bask in the glory of my success here. So I think that went quite well. So there proves the point that one stubborn person can put a tub on a frame by himself if he's stubborn enough. So apparently I'm stubborn enough. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I really didn't. I mean, literally, it was kind of a stressful thing. So I'm glad it's done, and nothing fell, and my little framework thing held together here. So, but I promise, I think the safest thing to do would be just to take this saw and chop this thing into little tiny pieces and fill the dumpster up with it, and not keep this around for when we do the CJ-7. I'll just enlist the help of some friends, and we'll just do it the old-fashioned way, pick it up and put it on the frame. So anyway, as I said before, that's it for tonight, man. I'm done. So I'll see you next time around. Hey, good morning. It's Saturday morning, and gosh, you know what? You are the first person to be sitting inside of the Jeep here. So I got you up on the fender, and I'm just looking at my array of ratchet straps all inside here. Got to put all those away. There was a lot of them, as you recall. And then I'm going to start working on kind of lining up the body mount points with the bolt points. I think I have to figure out what size bolt goes in there. I think all the old bolts were old and gnarly, and so I'm going to probably put some new ones in. I got to get this widow-making hoist thing taken down, even though it worked okay. I think I promised I was going to take a saw to it as I took it down, although it worked. So there's that part of me that is, I guess, genetically passed down from my father going, you might need that again, which I probably will when I do the CJ-7. So I don't know, maybe I'll take it apart and put it back out where it was on the side of the garage for now, and not throw it away just in case. I don't know, I'm undecided. We'll see about that. Anyway, I am gonna sort the garage out now because everything's just chaos in here. I left it just how I left it last night. So I've got the engine hoist to kind of get out of the way. I can push the Jeep out of the way a little bit so I can work on this structure that I built. And then I can get the tires back where they go. And then really, like I said, I mean, what I'm down to is getting the bolt holes lined up on the tub here and start to get it kind of fastened up. And then, you know, just so if I'm shoving it around, I don't have to worry about pushing it off a mounting point or whatever. I'm not going to tighten it down tight just yet, just in case I need to lift it up to get to something. But it's on here, and I feel pretty good about that. So let's just tear into it and see. It ought to be a productive day, even if it's not. Yesterday was, so I could almost just take a pass today. But I'm not going to. I'm going to keep the thing moving along here. I got a lot of stuff to do, and I don't want to be working on this Jeep when I'm 90. So I want to get this thing done. So anyway, let's get after it, shall we? Yes, I kept that crazy frame. I put it back out on the side of the house over there in the backyard. And yes, indeed, I am turning into my father, who just won't throw anything away. So insert a State Farm commercial or whatever here, and let's carry on. So there it is. You can see the silhouette. The back half, at least, looks like Jeep again, a little bit. So let's carry on, see if we can, like I said, figure out what bolt size we need and get some bolts in there to kind of just basically secure the frame and the tub together for not permanent, but just temporarily, so that I can start to push it around a little more carelessly. And it did look like when I was kind of working on initially, everything's not, all the bumper or bump stops between the frame and the body are not touching just yet. So I got to get under there with the light and look around a little bit and see if I'm sitting on something or whatever. So I'll do that. I'm not sure I'll be able to take you with me, but I'll come back and report on what I find. How's that? Okay, well, I got everything situated. Everything's back over here on the left side of the garage. I got plenty of room for the tires and the frame and the Jeep. I put the fenders up in the back, and I may roll the tires around up to the front of the Jeep, just get them out of the way. So there's only one thing left to do, and that is to pull the car back in the garage. Oh, there's that dog again, right in the way. All right, I'll see you next time around. Thanks for watching.